Well, that's been an interesting week. I've had conversation after conversation with people that are in business around the struggle at the moment with inflation and all of the costs that are rising. And the thing that occurred to me was that the way that you overcome inflation, increasing costs and all the rest of it is, yeah, sure, one part of it is reducing your cost base, but the other part of it is about increasing your revenues, sales revenues, income revenues. And that, I think, is the almost the missing narrative that's out in the marketplace at the moment. If you want to overcome inflation, you've got to sell more of what it is that you sell. So for us business owners, that's really the solution to escalating costs, is doing more deals. Now, for a lot of people that I speak to in the business community, that seems to be the Achilles heel of most people, is the fact that there's so much narrative around creating fantastic marketing strategies and tactics and what have you to get more leads. But getting more leads is really only a part of the big picture. The main part is, how do you get more business? Well, you get more business by having more conversations, and then in those conversations being able to do more deals. That's it in a nutshell. The challenge, I think, for most people is they don't do sales training. They don't actually get the skills to convert conversations into business. Now, my background is in starting, building and selling businesses. So the sales subject, i.e. how you have a conversation, get into easy rapport, ask quality questions. And for a lot of people, they don't know the questions to actually ask to steer a conversation, to control the frame of where the conversation goes. And so that's why pretty much across the board, most people will say, well, I kind of close 2 or 3 deals out of every 10. And I think to myself, well, that's nuts, because if you've got, let's say, 10 conversations with people who are interested in what it is that you sell, surely 7 out of those 10 should buy, shouldn't they? Because at the end of the day, they're interested in the services. Otherwise, you wouldn't be having the conversation. Now, let's break that down. So if you had 10 conversations with people that had an interest in what it is that you sell, one of them is not going to like that. Can't do anything about it. Just sometimes they just don't take a shine to you. Maybe another time you're not on your best form. And because you're not on your best form, the conversations don't go in the way and the directions that you hope that they would. But guess what? I think the other 7 or 8 really should, if you're on point and talking to people about what's interesting to them. You see, the art of selling is in never being seen to be selling. It's just a conversation between 2 people, at the end of which one buys from the other. So it makes sense that you have a process that you follow in terms of the architecture of a conversation. And it's the architecture of a conversation that I would say probably 9 out of 10 business owners never learn, which is why they go into a conversation selling. And of course, the other person, the customer, sees that person selling and their barriers go up. And then you get to that point in the conversation where you say to them, would you like to go ahead or would you like to buy? Quite often it's not quite those words, is it? And they go, well, I need to think about it. And the need to think about it or to ask someone else are indicators that we haven't run the process of the conversation correctly. It's as simple as that, really. Now, I think that if you're to overcome inflation, if you're to overcome high interest rates, if you're to overcome the escalating costs of running a business, you've got to get focused on being able to do more deals and get much more of a sales revenue focus to build that business. I honestly believe that the 2020s is the decade that so many millionaires are going to be made. Now, regardless of the fact that there's doom and gloom on all the media, there's still a ton of business to be done. People buy stuff. They do. They need to, because that's how they're going to grow their incomes, businesses, and all the rest of it, which means that you have a phenomenal opportunity in 2022 to go do business while other people are in protection mode. Now, if they're in protection mode, they're not being gregarious with their business activities to go and do more business. So I think that if you are to excel, you probably need to fine tune and hone those skills, the communication skills, the ability to read another person, to read their body language, to be able to ask quality questions that actually tell you how you can help them. I mean, my personal sales style, if you want to call it a style, is that I just have chats, just conversations. But I've developed over the last 4 decades ways of asking certain questions that put the customer at ease so that they actually tell you what they really want. And once you know what they really want, well, let's just do that then. It's easy. Converting conversations into business is easy once you understand the basic rules and architecture of how to have a conversation on purpose, one that has direction and nudges both of you to doing the deal. It's easy. It really is. But of course, you have to learn those skills to begin with. And whilst it's fabulous to build a beautiful website and to do your LinkedIn strategies and your reach outs and all the rest of it, but even that, it still needs to come from a place where you're really connecting in the marketplace so that people know you're the outfit, you're the organization to go do business with. Just my thoughts on a Friday morning. If you find that remotely interesting, do you know what? From those conversations, I've decided I'm going to put a sales training on. Not so much a sales training, more of a negotiation training. You know, the bit where you're in the conversation and how you take that conversation easily and elegantly to where they just buy. So yeah, there you go. There's an offer. Tell you what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it on the Friday the 20th. Why Friday the 20th? Why not? If that's interesting, send me a DM and let's do some work together that just might make 22 very, very different. Mainly because I just enjoy the sales process and I like teaching it. So it's not the core of what I do, as many of you who may be watching this know. You know, I buy businesses, I invest in businesses, I turn them around, I scale them up to sell them. But the sales component is a bit of a passion of mine. So hopefully there's something in this very short video that really you can take something out of to go do more deals, more business. So talk to you soon.